Welcome, everybody, to this week's podcast episode of the Financial Freedoms for Physicians podcast, where we discuss all types of freedoms. So we promote 4 types of freedom, which is time, location, emotional, and financial freedom. And today we have a very special guest, a very creative guest, which is why I brought her on the show. So we have Dr. Susie Sharpe. And before I introduce her, I want to read her bio, which is very amazing. So Dr. Susie Sharpe, born and grew up in Korea and came to the United States at the age of 16. Then she went to Wesleyan University, a very prestigious university, Bachelor of Arts in Chemistry, which was my major as well. Then went on to Yale Medical School, which is, one of the top medical schools in the country, got her medical degree, and went on to do an internship and residency at Yale New-Haven Hospital, one of the top hospitals as well. She's practiced internal medicine for 26 years to the present, but in particular, I want to highlight the creative aspect. So Dr. Sharpe has won numerous art awards and solo and group exhibits, which you'll see today. In 2021, the show she was featured in international art exhibits, art fairs, in Milan, Paris, Luxembourg, Brussels, in addition to 2 shows in New York. All of the proceeds from her art sales go to support charity, and she's also starting to write her memoir. In particular, listen to the ups and downs of her journey, which is very typical of entrepreneurs. So without much ado, we welcome to the show, Dr. Susie Sharpe. Hello, Dr. Sharpe. How are you doing?
Thank you for the introduction. Happy to be here. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm so excited about this show because, like I said, I really want to highlight physicians that are doing very innovative, creative, exciting things, really pushing the boundaries of their comfort zone. So, you came here to the States at the age of 16 and, went on to one of the best medical schools and residencies. So I want to hear all about the story, all the hardships, the triumphs, the tribulations. So tell us all about where you came from.
So when I was 16, it was my parents' decision to come to the United States. They felt like the children would maybe have a better opportunities. And I think that life in Korea wasn't easy. I was born less than 10 years after the end of Korean War. So there was a lot of poverty and, there's a constant threat of North Korea invading South again. So I think that was part of their decision making. And so we landed in New York City and none of us spoke any English except my mother. And I started in the middle of high school, not knowing any English. And so I experienced a lot of teasing and, having to look up dictionary in Korean to English to Korean dictionary constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did exceptionally well, but I was trying to decide what to do with my life. So in Korea, I was all set to become an artist. And my dream was to study art and maybe study abroad in Paris, come back to Korea to teach as an art professor.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. But when I landed in New York, I realized my parents, who were professionals in Korea, were suddenly like nobody. They couldn't translate their training and the skills. And in the United States, they were already in their 40s and 50s. I realized if I didn't make it on my own, I didn't have any backup system at all. Okay. And, my father was having to do physical labor to support the family. And we were going through, experiencing a lot of discrimination. And I realized that if I became an artist, there was no certainty that I could even support myself. So, at that time I was a good Christian. I thought about maybe becoming a medical missionary and help people. So I decided maybe I should go into medicine instead of art. But it was such a just, literally impossible dream that I couldn't tell anybody that that's what I wanted to do. I just felt like everybody would ridicule me for it. So I kept it to myself, and I started college, and I chose to major in chemistry for one reason, which is it required least amount of English. So although I had no interest in subject, but it was much easier to get A's in chemistry than anything else, really.
Right.
And so I finished pre-med, and then I did some cancer research in Boston, and then I started medical school. And even in medical school, even in college, actually, I was having to tape record all the lectures because I couldn't understand the lectures. So I sat in the front row, uh, recording every lecture and transcribing it later. And 1 hour lecture may take like 4 hours to transcribe and take notes afterward.
Uh-huh.
But that's sort of how I got through, and working multiple jobs because my parents couldn't pay for any part of my education. So all
Mhm.
through pre-med and medical school, I worked a lot of hours.
Wow.
And eventually, I became a physician, and I'm very fortunate that I love medicine. And it's been a very, very rewarding career. Um, and very demanding, but very rewarding, to help people and make
Yeah.
a difference. Mhm.
Wow. That's an amazing story. Uh, my parents had similar background because they came to the States in 1978, and back then, they had $200 in a suitcase, and
Mhm.
$200 back then was probably $2,000 here,
So,
but
like,
our culture, we emphasize work ethic and sacrifice and hard work, and we see the fruits of our labor. um but also they we because we experience a lot of hardships and discrimination, especially now these days, the with a lot of social movements. So but back then, people didn't say much, so you're to be commended to continue. So and then it's just do what you have a do whatever it takes mentality to succeed. So and then you're a excellent example of creating your dreams and then moving forward. So that's why we bring superstars such as yourself onto the show.
thank you.
Yeah. And so you did medicine, and now what made you decide to go into art? What were some of the factors that made you decide to transition?
So all these years when I was going through medical training and practicing medicine, um, I knew that at some point I had to do art. I could only defer my passion for so long,
Uh-huh.
And so once kids were a little bit older, I started taking art classes again, and then I joined a lot of art groups and started doing group shows with them.
Uh-huh.
And one time I saw an artist who kind of inspired me to maybe someday I could do a solo show. And so eventually I did a solo show, and it was a huge success. So after that, I started doing multiple solo shows. So, in recent years, I would do maybe up to 25 shows in a year. Some of them are group shows and some are solo shows.
Uh-huh.
And at some point, I basically did solo shows in every major place in Springfield, Missouri. So I dreamt of, reaching out to bigger stage, to ideally maybe New York or West Coast. But
Uh-huh.
last year, my art got discovered online by artists, by a gallery in Madrid.
Wow.
So I got invited to do a show at the international level. So
Uh-huh.
this year I have shows coming up in Paris in June, Luxembourg and Brussels.
Wow.
Um, yeah, so I'm really, really excited. Mhm.
So have you been able to make I know you've been able to make sales of your artwork, and for the listeners, you can go to Dr. Susie Sharpe's website, which is www.susiesharpe.net, which she's going to bring up in a few moments to highlight some of the work. But it sounds like you have been able to take your passion. So you went from medicine, which was the stable pathway, gave you a good brand, and now that you have stability, now you're able to pursue your passions and your creativity. So tell us more about sounds like you've gotten a lot of exposure with these international shows and solo shows. So tell us more about that.
So, well, I'm very active on online, okay, and these international shows are, well, they were actually scheduled earlier this year, but got deferred, got rescheduled for later this year, okay. I did one in Milan last month, and that went well, okay. And so now I have followers all over all over the world, actually. And my art sale is also pretty huge. It really picked up in recent months. And
Wow.
and I love sharing my art because I have a message to share. As the physicians, we see a lot of human suffering, a lot of sadness, a lot of death, and so my mission as an artist is to show beautiful side of life, bring hopeful messages. And get people inspired to pursue beauty and their passion and so on. And it works well for me right now because I feel like I've got a now perfect combination of doing medicine and art side by side. Okay, and I think I'll probably do maybe 70% medicine, 30% art, but they keep me busy. It takes a completely different type of mindset to do to both, which could be a challenge because in medicine, you have to be completely exact and precise in your diagnosis and medications and follow up and so on. In art, it takes a completely different type of mindset,
Yeah.
So it could be pretty interesting.
Yeah. So you're marrying the left and the right brains together.
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah. Do you want to show the audience your work and describe some of the best work and some of the inspiration behind the work, and describe some of the emotional feelings of the artwork?
Sure. Okay, let's see. Let me see. All right. Do you see that right now on the screen?
Yeah, I see it. I see it.
Okay.
Perfect.
So this is my cover page. And then let's go to, let's see. Let's see. All right. So we'll go to my gallery and I have different sections. So this right here has been my most popular section lately. Last year, none of us were able to take vacation and I really missed going to the beach and see the ocean. So out of that, I created this ocean and blue series. And so, mostly my painting's been very colorful, multicolored, but I found that I could really express a lot of beauty just using different shade of blue. And so this has been very well received.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, it
And
looks like these paintings were all sold. Wow, that's wonderful.
yeah, a lot of these pieces got sold. And so now people are buying a lot of my reproduction. Okay. And with the professional giclée, it actually comes out very, very nicely. And sometimes even myself, I can't tell the difference between my original and reproduction.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
It looks like almost like a stained glass. Is that what how you created that, or is it colors, or how did
It's
you?
acrylic. It's acrylic painting with mixed media.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. And people, I think, find that just it gives them hope. It gives them inspiration. And so this this category has been just very, very popular. Okay. So, a lot of us went through some degree of depression and sadness last year, losing a lot of people and, wondering when the pandemic, if ever, is going to be over, not seeing people. And so I think that's probably why this series, well, that's why it was created. And that's why I think it's just been extremely popular last year and this year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think last year a lot of the artists and the creatives, they leveraged, they got
Mhm.
creative in how do they, because everybody's locked down, stay at home, can't travel. So how do
Mhm.
you reach your audience, and how do you reach
Mhm.
your clients? And so I think they turned to new ways using the internet and through video presentations, social media,
Mhm.
and that gave them a greater audience and a greater reach. So that sounds like what happened. People were able to find you easier because everybody went online. So
Yeah.
um
So it's, I know that some of the physicians are running like coaching programs or they have podcasts and stuff like that. And
uh
they approached me wanting to purchase images so that they could put it on their website um, to brighten up, okay, or yeah, and or to pass on positive messages. So
yeah.
it's been very, very popular.
uh,
Niche changed to maybe a different category from blue, and let's see how that goes here. Okay.
so now we're on the music lovers gallery, and Dr.
Mhm.
Susie Sharpe will discuss some of the paintings in this gallery.
Okay, so I'm a pianist and I love music. So a lot of my paintings reflect my love of music. And here you see the full colors, and these were done in acrylic. And you know, I've done a lot of violin with my children, so there's violin in a lot of pieces. And here is this piece was painted actually during a concert. So there were several artists that were invited to paint on stage during a symphony concert. So in front of this, 3,000 people audience, we were there on stage, and it was very, very inspiring. And so this piece was recently sold, but it was a very special time.
Wow.
Okay, so here again, hidden musical instruments in the middle of pieces. And this is for the guitar lovers. So again, you see the music instruments.
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
see that. Yeah.
Mhm. So
Wow.
at some point, I dreamed of another life as a violinist. And so this piece was inspired by my dream of being a violinist in another life.
Wow. So artist, musician, physician. So
Yeah, yeah. But except that my children did a lot, we did a lot of music, but they didn't go into music or art. Well,
yeah.
actually, one is doing art, illustration. My daughter's studying illustration.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Mhm. And my son is doing an engineering.
Oh wow.
Mhm.
You must be very proud.
Yeah, I'm very proud of them. One of the best things that came out of the pandemic is that last year I got to spend a couple months with them. They came home from college and grad school, and
Uh-huh.
so that was wonderful. Mhm.
That
Yeah,
and I know you have some paintings of a lot of portraits as well. That I'm
yeah. You were
sure.
saying
Yeah.
portrait. Okay, all right. So go to portrait. Okay, so
Oh
I'm a big
wow.
fan of JFK, and you notice that my colors are just very bright and just striking, and
Yeah.
that's how I like to do portraits.
Nice.
This is part of my hero series. So JFK, obviously my hero. Bill Gates, my hero, because he is somebody who's been hugely successful, but then he's using his success to better the world. So I love what he does after what he's done after he's retired, so
Yeah,
all
exactly.
the difference he and Melinda Gates make through this foundation. So that's very inspiring. This portrait I did actually recently because I was commissioned by another physician to do her work. And again, my heroes
Oh,
series.
oh, it's Gandhi. Okay.
Yeah. Mhm,
Wow.
mhm. These are huge, actually. Each one of these, 24 by 36 or 24 by 30. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mhm. And then that's my self-portrait.
Nice. So if the audience was interested in contacting you or purchasing these paintings, how would they get in touch with you?
Oh, if they go to my website, there's a direct contact information. So that probably would be the easiest. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and you're also on Facebook as well, and
Yeah.
also
Facebook and Instagram.
Instagram too, right? Oh, yeah. So that's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
So, so it sounds like you've had a really wonderful, amazing story and very inspiring career and journey. So, is there anything you want to share for the audience and to the audience? Also, a lot of the links and the references and resources that Dr. Sharpe mentioned will be put in the show notes. So Dr. Sharpe, what's your final message for the audience and or any words of encouragement or inspiration during these times?
I think that all of us have dreams and desires uh, that we'll do something someday. Whether it's art or business or writing a book or travel, whatever. And rather than having a long bucket list uh, that keep postponing, I think that I like to just go ahead and start doing it because there is no guarantee for tomorrow. This past year, I lost a number of people,
Uh-huh.
including my father. And
Oh,
many people carry their desires and dreams and bucket lists to their grave, and
uh-huh.
some of them were young people that went unexpectedly. And
Yeah.
so I try to really live each day as though this might be their last day.
Yeah.
So whatever you wanted to do, just do it now, okay? Because there may not be, okay? So that's why I'm trying to do so many international shows and my shows in New York and stuff, because you know next year who knows what might happen, and uh, just do it. I think it's my message to the people. Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, you have so many pearls there because last year a lot of doctors, it was their final straw, and they realized they only have one life to live and one chance. And so
Mhm.
with everything, with the world being able to be shut down almost overnight, you don't have any choice but to go after your dreams. So
Mhm.
those and you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So
Mhm.
you may take a shot and miss, but at least you have a chance to win. So but if you
Mhm.
don't try, you have 100% chance of losing. So
Mhm.
um that's I really enjoyed the your story and listening to it. It was very inspirational, and I think a lot of creatives, not just artists but photographers, movie producers, and a lot of creatives will take a lot of inspiration from this episode. So thank you so much, and we'll see you in the future episodes.
Thanks for having me.
And no, and be well.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.